AD, do you think Adam is a culture vulture?
No. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't hire gangsters and pimps and shit like that if you was a culture vulture. You know, he helped change.
Sound like a record label to me.
Record label.
I mean,
the industry does that every day.
no, but like on some real shit though, like we give him a lot of slack. A lot of people may see shit like that, but he genuinely cares because you know he'll see the potential in somebody. And I say this shit all the time. Like our own people may see a nigga and be like, "Oh, you're affiliated with streets. You affiliated with this. You might be a liability. We don't even want to give you a chance." Versus you got this guy like, okay, you do this, you do that. Oh, I think you're great on camera. Let's try you out. The people end up liking it, and then them same people come around like, oh, damn, you great. You should be woo. Like, nah, y'all didn't see that. He's seen that, and you know he could go. He's white. He can go pick up a lot of white niggas right now, make these TikTokers and YouTubers, and if he really wanted to, the fact that he's giving people from the streets and you know people opportunities, that's dope. I don't see nobody else doing no.
To
shit
be
like
fair,
that.
you're probably like some of the only people that would really fuck with me. So I don't think Bryce Hall's going to start a podcast with me.
And I
Don't sell yourself short. It
Culture
might
vultures as well.
Yeah,
Like, we get
no,
that
no.
mixed up and think that because you black, you can't be a culture vulture. You can be a
for sure.
culture vulture and be black.
But I mean, this guy is only like give to us. He ain't take. You know what I mean? Like
The whole thing with the culture vulture thing is that it's like, for that to make sense, it has to be like a person who's completely outside the culture coming in. Right now, I definitely have had like a very different version of being part of the culture. But at the same time, like rap has been like the primary music I was listening to since I was in elementary school. And that's always been the thing that I've been fascinated by. So for me, I'm kind of new to the idea that I'm like a total outsider and that, you know, and now granted, I grew up in the suburbs and I am white. So I'm very aware of that. But at the end of the day, like I don't really view myself as that different from him, even though I'm from New Hampshire and he's from Compton. Like I get the differences, but I don't really like look at him or any of the people on the team on camera or whatever who could be from the fucking craziest backgrounds. It's like I don't know.
and even the business model is like, you know, you can be up and coming. It don't matter where you come from. Most likely, No Jumper is gonna give you an interview first, and you know what I mean. So that's dope. Like a lot of people may not take like the J Moneys and who's another artist that you just did.
It's that Lambo Fo on from
Like
Watts.
you may not even heard of certain people, and they come here first, and it's like on the West Coast, there ain't no real place that you can go and get an interview from somebody this big and on a platform this big. People from the streets,
Right.
all helps.
We got T-Rail interviewing a different jerkin artist every week.
Nah, T-Rail's interviews is fire.
Yo,
But I'm
man.
saying, like,
no,
we're-
they need their flowers, bro. They was TikTok before TikTok was TikTok.
We dig in
Jerk
on a
dancing
lot
go
of
crazy.
shit hip hop wise that like just a lot of people wouldn't do because it's not the most viral shit. That's the weird thing about it is that you get judged so harshly on some stuff that you do, and then you get absolutely no acknowledgement of everything else that you do. You know, like that. Even though I'll be having that conversation with people about interviews, and they'll be like, your interviews are like all about drama and gossip and beef, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I do like the most intimate interviews that most of these fucking artists are ever gonna do, where we're like really just talking about them as people. And I feel like you've not really seen many of my interviews if you think that that's actually my angle.
Yeah, even
I
when,
hit that shit by the end of it usually, but
even when people say that shit, I be like, you just read the taglines.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He may, sometimes too, he may ask a question or two where I'll be like, you know, but for the most part, like, he ain't trying to get nobody incriminated. He ain't trying to make nobody look bad. And if you hit the nigga up, you feel me? Like, hey, I don't like how this shit's going. If he fuck with you, he'll be like, oh, I'll change it out or do whatever you got to do. He cool with that shit.
Our first tweet exchange was based off me thinking that. If you
What was
remember
it?
that far back.
What
I
was
had
it?
tweeted something about it because I was introduced to the platform. This was years ago. I was introduced to the platform
Adam
like
a culture vulture?
I didn't call him a culture vulture. I was just talking about
One vulture to another?
yeah, 100%. I admit I'm a card carrying member.
I don't even remember this. This is sick.
I had said something about the platform because I was introduced to it when you were like doing vlogs in like the projects, and it reminded me so much of when they throw the nerdy white kid
On Vice.
in Chicago in Vice, and it's just like, tell me about the gangs, and that's what it looked like. This was a long time ago.
This is when I was there?
This was before the you had a podcast.
I feel like
anything.
Stupid Young was like the main. Well, that wasn't even the
I
project.
thought you was talking about then when we went to Watts.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, this was 6 years. That was a really long time ago. But then I did retract it later on when we were on the old pod. I was like, all right, my bad, because I see the platform is different. It's not the Vice shit. But you could still.
I don't even know if I saw
You could have
that.
culture vulture tendencies and not be a culture vulture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we see people do it all the
You
time.
can exploit things to some degree.
Yeah, because there are a lot of hood vloggers and stuff who definitely don't have any of the insecurities that I had about doing content in the hood, you know, like in the sense that like, I remember we did that one when we went to the Long Beach and did a vlog with Stupid Young and the Asian boys. And it's like,
that was, that must have been the one.
but then like after that,
the Asian gang.
we didn't really like dig in on it. But I've seen people who they do one video like that and that is their thing. They're traveling around the down south, going to every project, doing videos. And I mean, at the end of the day, I got to respect it that they're just making money and doing their thing. And probably a lot of those people are super fucking happy to be on camera. And I've had people tell me that they're like rappers tell me, oh, the first time I got any kind of clout or coverage was from being in a hood vlog. I'm like, that's fucking incredible because I never thought that people were finding about music from that shit.
But I feel like for Stupid Young, that did great shit for his career right after that. This shit, you know what I'm saying, showed a different type of, you know, you think of gangs in Long Beach, you probably think of black gangs. No, I went over here to some Asians and see how they got going on and turn this stuff up too. But like even when we went to Watts, people were like, oh, you guys watching people chop up crack and do this and do that. I was like, bro, this shit was fake. I was there. So you can't say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, for one, I ain't chopping up nothing around this nigga or being around that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? But two, like, nah, like, I don't see no interviewers that are going to the trenches, going to the hard to go places and stuff and just, you know, walk around freely and shit. Like, it don't happen like that.
But that was a situation where my experience of going there was basically 100% like, oh, this is a dope place. All these people get along. It's good vibes. Like, I know that there's violence attached to the people here, but I'm not seeing any of it. Everything was just cool. But then they wanted to film a fucking skit for the vlog where they fucking pretended to cook crack. And we were like, all right. And then we ended up fucking blurring it out. And then that actually kind of made it worse because then people actually thought it was crack because if you had actually seen it, you probably would have been able to tell it was not crack.
But I guess in that instance, intent only matters to you. That's the intent is valued to the person that is going there. The outcome you have no control over. So that's where I've looked at the culture vulture thing with myself included, where I know my intent on stuff, but if it comes across differently to the community in which I've been accepted to somewhat degree too, it doesn't matter my intent. What is my outcome? What am I actually doing? Because I could come in with the best intentions ever. How does it look to everybody else? Because I'm not the deciding factor because of my intent.
But I remember before we put that vlog out, knowing that we were going to get that exact reaction and just being like, whatever.
But then again, too, this is artists over there.
Some would
like,
say
come
that
on.
would be the culture vulture part of it because you said, I don't care.
Because I knew that we didn't actually do anything wrong because they weren't actually cooking drugs and this was a skit that they wanted to film. But I knew that a lot of people were going to perceive it another way. But since I knew it wasn't that, it's like, well, I don't really give a shit if people are going to view this way since I know what it actually was.
And if people are welcoming you, like, hey, come to our neighborhood, see how we live, see the talent here.
Yeah.
Like nobody else is, I mean, like you said, they're doing hood vlogs now, but the hood vlogs is really just glamorizing the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, y'all got musical talent over here. Okay, cool. You see the kids over there. That's dope. And that make them like, okay, we got people coming to our neighborhood doing shit like that, man. That gives people hope. But another thing too, Adam be having like white on white beef. I don't know why. So
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.